Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and obviously if you're watching this you've decided to build your own clothesline. Okay, now one of the advantages of building your own clothesline, or the reason I did this way, is because some of the other brands of clotheslines, or the ones that you already buy pre-assembled or put together, I was running into the problem of having to replace parts all the time, which were becoming very expensive. Now, this one that I'm showing you here, mine cost me around about, say, $400. Now, you can buy one for $400. The advantage of this one, this is a pretty good big clothesline. It's up to around about 70 meters of line, or 75, I think. But anyway, if anything ever does go wrong with it, it's cheap to replace, and you won't be paying a small fortune in the future. Okay, I'm going to cover some of the stuff that you'll need here. And so you're going to need 5 pieces of treated pine at 2.5 meter lengths, and it's usually, I think, 90 mil. You'll need wire rope around about 60 or 70 meters. Tensioners, usually 13 of. 26 wire rope grips, the ones that where you get the end of the wire rope and you tie it in a loop and tie it off. Usually around about 15 bags of rapid set cement, and you'll probably need 4 stirrups. So one for the base, which sits here. I don't have it in the drawing, but there is a support that comes here, but that will be explained further in the video. And usually at around about $400. Now you can do a cheaper version without the stirrups, and you can actually put this straight into the ground on a smaller scale, so it probably would cost you less than this. So depending on what type of line you're after or how many lines you need, it's all up to you. Okay. Hello everybody, and here are the materials I'll be using to build my freestanding clothesline. Okay, now what we've got is posts, all these posts here. I may still have to get more timber, but as I showed you in the first segment of the style I'm using, you pretty much get the idea. So this is all treated pine, okay? But instead of putting this stuff in the ground, I'm using these stirrups. Okay, so what these are going to do is they go in the base, straight like that. And actually, if you see from the bottom, you've got 2 holes as well. I'll probably be screwing them in. So we have the stirrups, and also we've got the sicker grout, and that will be for the stirrups. And also In the bottom here, we've also got, when it's all done and it's all concreted in, we've got the actual clothesline, and it's the actual wire. Now, I got this stuff, the wire, because in the past, I've always found with clotheslines, they come loose, and you usually have to contact the manufacturer for parts that are, by the way, horrendously expensive. So I've gone for this idea with the actual tension wire, and these are the tensioners here. Okay, I've also got the hooks, so they'll go into the timber along here, and I think it's just a better idea. Okay, now we've got our area where we'll be putting the clothesline. There's the old clothesline. I actually pulled that out. Well, I haven't pulled it completely out, but I'll be getting the grinding machine, probably just cutting that out and covering that with concrete. As you can see here, there was some, I can't remember the name of the tree, but actually cut that down. It was kind of taking over. They're quite poisonous too, so anyway, so this is what we're doing here. Is I've dug the holes, and one here as well, around about 600 to 700 deep. Now you can use rapid set concrete. I'm actually using the Sika product, which is something like 5 or 7 times stronger than concrete. So I usually, instead of mixing it well, we mix this stuff in a bucket, and we'll be pouring this in the stirrups into here. As our base. And also, what I will be doing after I've done these 2 holes, I'm putting a back support, a hole next to it, and on the other side. What happens is that when you pull the tension on the actual clothesline, and when you've got everything tensioned and with the weight, naturally it's going to want to pull it in. So these will need back supports. Okay, now we've put the stirrups in. We've got this just above, always have these stirrups above the ground. Well, that's the purpose of them, is to make sure that the timber is not on the ground, so you avoid termites and whatever pests. Now we've got this pretty much level, so make sure that it's level. As you can see, it's pretty good there. Once you got it level, let it set, and yeah. But I'm going to have to go to the hardware store now, because I have under anticipated the amount of quickset or cement I need. So yeah, okay, back again. Now we're going to be working on putting the frame together. Now, one important thing I need to note out is you need to establish the actual height. Members of the family, who's going to be using it. So if you got a short person or a tall person, what I did was I got my wife to come out and I established the height and said, well, what do you want? And she said, this is the height that I want. So basically, yeah. So what I've worked out is 1.9 meters is satisfactory for her. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this length of timber to 1.9 meters. Now, you can use a power saw, handheld power saw, even a normal wood saw and a sawhorse if you have one, or any bench that you can find. So, all right, let's go cut this timber. So, here we go. So it's 1.9. Okay, 1.9. And what I will do is just take this out. Actually, yeah. Okay. So we've got our mark here. 1.9. Okay, so now we've established the height, we need to cut the brace or the length of the actual clothesline, or where you'll be putting your hooks or your lines. So we've established on this one 1.7 meters. So I've made a mark here. Normally I get a set square and line that up, but it's not necessary. So, oh man, it's hot today. Okay. Timber's a bit wider. It's 90mm thick, but this saw I've got is okay. That way. There we have. There you go. Okay, now we're in the process of we're going to butt join these two pieces of timber together. So we've got the length, okay, of the line is where the hooks are going, and we've got the supporting pole. Okay, now we're going to cut this here. Now I've got a table saw, You can use a circular saw, chisels, but as you can see I'm using the table saw. And so we're going to cut these out and then we're going to butt these together. Once that's done, we're going to drill the bolts to support them. Okay, we've cut the joins here, so it's a butt joint. So here's your post, and here is the brace for your wires. So now what we're going to do is join these two pieces together like so. And what I will be doing is drilling 2 holes, elongated, so we've got one on the bottom here and one on top of here, and with your bolts. So one here and then the second one up here. Okay, so now we've braced our 2 joins together. Now we need the braces on either side. So the easiest way to do this, I've just placed it on a flat surface, just propped it up there. So you measure an equal distance from here. So whatever that distance is there, you measure the same from this corner to that corner, same equal distances. So now what I'm going to do is draw a line, and that will be our cut line, like so. Okay, now that we've cut our braces, we screw them in. So what I have used are these screws with hex head fitting. And you just, as you can see, just drive them in straight like that. So what you want to do is take your, like so, and drive them all the way. Done. And also the other side. Now, I did say before to measure equal distances from here to here, but I actually turned them around because I stood it up, and it's mainly for cosmetic reasons. It just looks it looks better if you have a distance from here to here longer, and from the brace actually shorter. It's just, when it's standing, it's just more appealing to the eye. Okay, we've got our braces on. Now we're going to put our screws on for your wire apes. So ideally, or what's recommended, the spacing between each rope is usually around about 120 millimeters, which I've got a marker here. So that's the center there. So usually 120 between each space. So I'll have around about a total of 13. Now, usually what I do is I get a roll of tape and usually use it as a marker rather than put it straight onto the timber. I just find it easier, and that way I don't have to draw on top of the timber. Just personal choice really, and I find it easier. Okay, now we've got all the screws in. It's time to install these. Okay, so next is the installation. Okay, now as you can see, I've installed both of these. Now what I did was we put 2 bolts in. I drilled through there in the base and put the bolts in, and as you can see there's a prop here behind here. So I actually was going to do without these supports, well, the one behind, but actually I had to put the back support in because otherwise, once these are tension, it's going to put a lot of weight. So around about 4.7 meters. So if I pull on that, it has enough to take the tension on that. And what I'm doing now is I have to cut the support behind here. So what you usually do, or what I do, is line that up there, and then I'll get a pencil, and that'll tell me my angle, and then I'll cut that. And let's go and cut this. All right, now we've got both posts in. We've started putting the wiring on. Okay, now let me show you this cable and how it works. Now you have these tensioners here. Okay, so I'll explain the tensioners and how they work. Usually you back these right off. So you determine the length of your wire with a little bit of slack. And see these threads here? You back them all the way out. So the idea is once you put it on, it's just a matter of simply twisting this round, and that creates your tension on your wire. Now, one tip when you're doing this is to start on the outside and the opposing side. Okay, so the idea is you're working on a torque pattern. So you wouldn't start from this end, tension this side, because by the time you get to the other side, you're basically, what you're doing is you're pulling in, as you're tensioning it, you're going further and further out, so it's you're pulling on one side, so it's becoming obscure. if that makes sense. So a torque pattern so that you have an even tension on either side. So on both sides, and then what I usually do is start, once I've done the two sides, I start from the center outwards. So I'll do this one, and then the next one I'll do this one, which I haven't done yet, but I'll show. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to thread this wire with these. What we're doing is we're creating a loop. So you've got these clamps, okay, these wire clamps. So what you do is you loop the wire through, and make a kink there, and then you, this is hard to show on camera, so I've probably got to, what you have to do is make sure that you pull these nuts all the way out, not all the way out, but as far as you can. So what you're doing is you're creating a loop, and then you push the wire back through here, like so, and depending on your nut size, I'm not too sure what this, the size, the smallest size I could find, they're actually quite small. It's Imperial 932, so whatever, I guess that'd be in millimeters because I don't talk in imperial, so it would be, I'm guessing, say 6 millimeters. I'm not too sure. I noticed that these are all different because the last ones I had were actually 8 millimeters. All right, let's go through them in. And there you have it. I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's it there. All right. Okay then, finished product. And this is it. This is the clothesline. And hopefully, and I know confidently that this is going to last me quite some time. And like I said before, earlier in the actual video, is these cables are, if anything, over time, like anything with age, they're easy to replace and cheap. Remember that. Rather than plastic, fantastic, which this is not. It's all steel and timber. Okay, catch you guys.